tell all my hoes, break it up.
Hold up.
Break it down.
Hold on.
Bag it up.
Hold on.
Fuck it up, fuck it up.
Damn.
Bag it up, bag it up.
They eating that.
Bag it up, bag it up, bag it up.
Huh.
Bag it up, bag it up, bag it up, bag it up. I tell all my
Okay.
hoes, break it up.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Fuck it up, fuck it up.
Hold on.
Bag it up, bag it up.
Hold on.
Bag it up, bag it up. Bag it up, bag it up.
Gango, how's everybody doing, man? Welcome back to Man Blue FC. My name is Nande, and we're about to get into another reaction. But before we do that, people, I want to get something off my chest. I want to talk about Manchester City and the shit show that I had to sit through yesterday afternoon. Listen, people, how many times do we have to get embarrassed by the same chicken shit football club? How many times do we have to get packed up by Tottenham Hotspur before we learn to change, before we learn to adjust? Playing tiki-taka from the back. Like dickheads. What are we, Barcelona? Are we 09 Barcelona? Do we have Lionel Messi in our football club? Can't take any good things out of that match yesterday. There were no good things about that match yesterday. It seems like Ryan Ait-Nouri got injured and then it all just went to hell immediately, and I just couldn't believe my eyes having to sit through that for 90 minutes. People, how was Erling Haaland our best creative player? Erling Haaland! Are we crazy? Where was Tiani Reinders since he was so well touted last week? Where was Ryan Cherky? Where was Omar Mamouche? Ass. All three of them. The only good players in that match yesterday were Erling Haaland, Rico Lewis, John Stones, and who else? Nathan Ake. The rest of those scrubs were bums yesterday. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Tottenham Hotspur have beaten us 8 times, have beaten Pep Guardiola 8 times. And how many times was that at the Etihad? It was embarrassing, people. How is it that the best football team in the Premier League is losing to the worst football team in the Premier League? Can you somebody please explain that to me? Because I don't understand it. Don't understand how Tottenham were able to tear us apart like that, and then when we tried to recover, we couldn't even get close to them. When they go forward, it seems like it's just cutting through us like knife through butter. How does that make any sense? Can you please explain that to me? How am I talking about another Tottenham Hotspur loss at the Etihad? How is this? How, bro? It doesn't make any sense, people. I'm looking at the lens right now. How is it happening? Because let me tell you, people, not only is it the second time in 2 years that Tottenham have beaten us at the Etihad, I also remember one more detail. Thomas Frank has beaten us at the Etihad. You remember that? And guess what? This time he didn't even need Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney was nowhere near the Etihad, and we still got cooked by Thomas Frank and his goons, his scrubs. Do you know what position Tottenham Hotspur was in or ended in last year in the Premier League? And we went on a 3-month losing streak from October to December. And we still ended up in the top 4. How did we lose today at home to Tottenham Hotspur? And Jesus Christ, Phil Foden, what the fuck was so funny while you were sitting on the sidelines? What the fuck was Phil Foden smiling at? Can somebody tell me? Does anybody know? Like, what was Phil Foden looking at that made him cheese up at the fucking sidelines like that while we were getting chefed up in his stadium? The stadium that he used to be a ball boy in. The stadium that he used to toss balls to Vincent Kompany and Sergio Aguero. We're trailing 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur, and he can think of nothing else to do but cheese. Why? Listen, I don't want I don't want to make this any more embarrassing than it already is. I'm already fucking embarrassed. But anyway, let's just get into this reaction. If I can just find my cell phone. Want to get into this reaction, people. And today we're reacting to Don Robbie's Transfer Daily, as we always do. And let's just see, man. It's today's Transfer Daily, and let's just see what happens. Let's just see what he's talking about. I'm so fucking vexed, bro. Yesterday, I couldn't even make a video. I had to just pass out and fall asleep because I was speechless. I was yelling. My neighbors are mad at me because I was yelling my lungs out watching that match yesterday. Okay, Manchester City. Do you know I had to look at our fixtures. I think next week we're playing like some scrub-ass team like Brighton and Hove Albion. And then we're going on international break. The entirety of September, we're just playing Big Six teams. And this is how we want to set the tone. Losing at home to Tottenham Hotspur. Let me find this fucking video, man.
Excellent win for Arsenal yesterday. Off to a great start in the Premier League. 2 wins out of 2 games and a 5-0 victory yesterday over Leeds United. And I'll tell you what, it was an incredible day. If you were writing a script, I think it was Stricto who I interviewed yesterday, said it. If you were writing a script, it couldn't get much better, right? Gyökeres with 2 goals. Max Dowman coming on, great cameo, won that penalty.
Shout
2
out
goals
Max
for
Dowman.
Timber. And of course, the announcement at the start of the game with Eberechi Eze.
Shout out
that was
Eberechi Eze, who got his unveiling yesterday.
Incredible. And also
at the
to add
Arsenal
to that,
match.
going back to the game, the Eze moment was absolutely incredible. When he was brought out onto that pitch, the reaction of the fans, the reaction of Eze himself, I mean, well done to Arsenal for doing that. Right? I've always said for years, why don't Arsenal bring their new signings out onto the pitch? They do it at many other clubs, especially around Europe. Bring them out. Let the fans show them some love. And they did that yesterday, and that was absolutely fantastic.
Arsenal
and by the
got
way,
a
I
new
thought
sporting
Madueke as
director,
well,
and
the
everything
other
they've
signing
done
who featured in the
since
game
has
played
been just
very well as well.
impeccable.
And Zubimendi, don't forget Zubimendi.
How is
He
it
had a
that one
really,
man
really
can
good
change
game
the course of
as well? Of course, Gyökeres
a
getting
struggling
a brace.
team? Well, not that
all round
Arsenal
for
was
Arsenal for the
struggling,
new signings,
but
it
you
was
know
a
what
really,
I
really
mean.
good
Like,
day,
it
and
takes
for the
one
club,
person,
and
and all of a sudden the
5-0
vibe
win.
is completely changed.
The
Can you
only
please explain that to
downside
me?
of yesterday was injuries to Bukayo Saka, who scored a really, really good goal in the game, and
Get well
again
soon,
showed
Bukayo.
how important he is to this football club. And the captain, Martin Odegaard, who went down with what looked like a shoulder injury. Saka's looked like a hamstring.
Martin Odegaard can kiss my
Odegaard's
ass.
one looked like a shoulder injury, and you know Odegaard's not just going to come off just like that. Now, despite all the signings that have been made, this is a bit worrying. Remember, on top of that as well, Havertz is out. I mean, it shows the need straight away for having a good squad, right? The fact that we know we can go to Liverpool next week and you're going to be able to bring Eze in.
It wouldn't surprise me
and
if
you're gonna be
Arsenal
able to
bring in
bring
another
Madueke, you can play on that
big name
right-hand side
signing
if
before
Saka's
the end
out
of
and
the
stuff like
window
that. But
with all these injuries, which I
could-
brought up
if
in
any
my
of these
previous
injuries are
video, by the way.
long-term, could also be forced to go back and try and bring in another signing before the end of this transfer window, because we don't know yet the status of these injuries. The Havertz one, they've been very quiet on. I'm very worried about that one, because a lot of times when they're quiet on these injuries for quite a while, it could mean that it could be a long-term one. The Saka one, we don't know what grade of hamstring injury that's going to be. I know we've got cover in that area, but if it's a long-termer, you know, Arsenal's hand could be forced again to go back in to the transfer market and maybe bring in yet another attacking player, despite, you know, what Max Dowman did yesterday. Remember, he's only 15. So could Arsenal go back for Rodrigo before the end of this transfer window? That is the one.
If Arsenal
I
Football
feel
Club
that,
get this
you know,
player before
is
we
still
make a
one to
move for
watch.
him, I swear to
Of
Jesus.
course, you know, Real
And by the
Madrid
way,
playing today,
stop
Osasuna
hyping
away.
Oscar
If
Bar.
he doesn't
He
play
is
in that, I mean,
average.
he's not.
I don't
want to
hear the
If he
word
doesn't play in that,
prodigy
it
mentioned
could be
with this
that they're
guy's
just
name ever
keeping
again.
him
Let
out
him
of the
earn
team
it.
because they know he could
Fucking
possibly
scrub.
move. After watching Man City yesterday, they
you
could
son of a
probably
bitch.
do with a Rodrigo. They might move for him. Liverpool could move for him as well if they don't get Alexander Isak. So there's a lot of pieces in play here. But if Arsenal, if any of those injuries are long term, Arsenal may go back in. And listen, I don't think they're going to go back in and look to bring in someone like Rodrigo by spending a fee on him, because he'd be too expensive. And, you've got, financial fair play rules, PSR rules. But a loan for a Rodrigo could definitely be a possibility before the end of the transfer window. So definitely one to watch.
Bro, Arsenal
This
are
one's
using
interesting.
witchcraft.
Don't know if you guys have
Real
heard
Madrid
of
somehow
this name.
agreed to a
Victor
loan.
Ozinvuna. I hope I
loaning
pronounced it
out
right.
Rodrigo
Of
to
Shamrock
them
Rovers
of all places where
over
we
there in
have the
Ireland.
money.
Now, I've done my
And while we
extensive
actually have the
research,
need for a
and I
Rodrigo
found
in
out
our
that he's an
squad
attacking
right now.
midfielder and he's 16 years old.
Stop
I
playing
haven't really
Omar
done much
Mamouche out of position, please.
research on it. I don't know who he is, to be honest. He's a new player on the radar, but said to be an amazing talent. Arsenal have reportedly agreed a deal with Shamrock Rovers to sign him. It's a pre-contract deal, said to be worth around about 4 million euros, and there will be a sell-on clause inserted in the contract. Now, seems to be some people saying it could be done straight away. It's more likely to be a pre-contract deal with him coming in January, but he's said to be a real top prospect. Great move for him. Great move for Shamrock Rovers, because they get a load of money in. And listen, at 16, he's a veteran. After seeing what Max Dowland was doing yesterday. But no, probably wouldn't expect him to come in and be into the first team. But Arsenal's set to make that signing. Of course, outgoings are going to be the focus for Arsenal over this next week. Just over a week of the transfer window to go. Shuts on the 1st of September on the Monday at 7 p.m. And it was notable yesterday that there was no Reece Nelson in the Arsenal squad. No Fabio Vieira in the Arsenal squad. No Sambi Lokonga and no Oleg Zinchenko in that squad at all. And it's quite obvious that Arsenal are looking to move those players on. Now, Fabio Vieira has been linked with a move to Bayern Munich by the German journalist Florian Plettenberg.
It was Stuttgart yesterday.
Claims that Bayern are still on the lookout for attacking midfielder.
Right, if you
could
get
make
this,
a
if
loan
Bayern
move,
Munich get this scrub, like,
for
I guess
Fabio
that,
Vieira, this one that they're
let me just shut
watching
the hell up.
between now and the end of the window. The Stuttgart thing still hasn't gone through. It seems to be fading as well. But there are lots of clubs interested in Fabio Vieira. Most of them would rather take him on loan. But lots of clubs interested in trying to get him before the end of the transfer window. Sambi Lokonga hasn't figured in pre-season, hasn't figured in any of the squads so far for the Premier League games. And obvious that Arsenal are looking to move him out. Now, Trabzonspor over there in Turkey are the latest club who are said to be interested in Albert Sambi Lokonga. Again, Arsenal would like to see him go out on a permanent deal, but it's more likely again to be some sort of loan deal. But Trabzonspor are exploring how they can get a deal done for Albert
if it's a
Sambi
Turkish
Lokonga,
club,
who spent last season on
from what I
loan
understand,
at,
their transfer
Sevilla.
window ends.
Now, what
a
about
bit,
Jakub Kivior? Out of all of
later
the
than
players that
ours.
are available, he seems
So
to be
if
the
anybody
one
from Turkey
that's
is looking into
garnering the
signing
most
any of
interest.
these, like,
He
B-list
was in the
Arsenal
squad yesterday,
players or anyone
but was
from
an
the Premier
unused
League,
substitute.
seems like it would
Notably,
be likely
it was
to
Christian
happen.
Mosquera who came on later on in the game. Jakub Kivior, unused, not yet played in the Premier League. There are lots and lots of interest in him from various clubs, both here in the Premier League and abroad. But he's said to prefer a move, if it does happen, in the Premier League. Now, could Palace move for him? They still could lose Mark Gahey before the end of the transfer window. And with him preferring a move
Palace
in
are
the
getting
Premier
stripped,
League,
guys.
it
Like,
would be a decent move for Kivior.
It was bad
but
enough
one to
them
watch.
losing
There's a lot of
Michael
moving
Olise
parts
to
now
Bayern.
between now and the end of the transfer
you know what I
window.
mean, with
It's
what's
going to
happened in
depend
the last few
with
days.
some of these players at
and
Arsenal
now,
ship out.
you know, the risk
gonna
of them
depend
losing
on
their captain.
what
It's
other
just
teams
I
are
don't
doing
understand.
with
I
their
don't know how
players.
they're
There's
gonna.
be a lot of movement.
I was kind of
But
rooting
of
for
course,
them
we'll
to go
keep
for
you
that
up to date with all
Conference
of it here
League.
on Transfer
trophy.
Daily. So do not
But
miss
if
a
you
thing.
keep,
1
like,
week to
offloading
go
your best
on
players, it's
Transfer
like, is
Daily.
there really any
Do not
hope
miss a
for that
thing.
happening?
Keep it locked here, subscribe, and of course, we're here every day until it finishes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Big up Don Robbie, man. We got them pause the video. Listen, I know I was heated in my intro, and I'm still vexed, honestly. I actually got a bit of cheering up today because I didn't watch this match. I was sleeping in preparation for me recording and editing this video. So I kind of just decided to like miss that match. But I saw the last 2 minutes of the Manchester United versus Fulham match, and it was, yeah, it lifted my spirits. You know what I mean? It definitely lifted my spirits because if we're going to lose at home to Tottenham, then goddamn it, let the neighbors lose as well. Well, a draw in that case definitely feels like a loss. From what I understand, they didn't even score a goal. They thought it was a Lenny Yoro goal, and it turned out to be a Muniz own goal. And then Emil Smith-Rowe, man, you know what I mean, still serving the Gunners by spoiling their enemies or spoiling their rivals. So shout out to Emil Smith-Rowe, and shout out to Fulham, man, for standing your ground at home like you're supposed to if you're a proud football club. You know, don't lose to scrubs at home. You know, that's what you're supposed to do if you're a football club in the Premier League. But anyway, Manchester United hold that, and we can hold it as well because we lost to the chickens. The fucking cockerels. And we've got a Brighton, as I said, to look forward to next. And aside from that, guys, it's going to be a long season. If we lose another match in the next 3 matches that we play, you might as well take us completely out of the title race. Title race? Yeah, the title race. Because we not only are we going to have to deal with that, we also have the Champions League coming up, and God knows who we're going to be drawn against. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus. Guys, this can't be the way we start the season. Like, this is supposed to be a change. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in my team. I absolutely adore my team, but this is unacceptable. Okay, but anyway, listen, I absolutely love you guys, and I love the support that you've been showing me over the past week. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment if you have to, and listen, fuck Manchester City, fuck Manchester United, fuck Arsenal, fuck Liverpool, fuck Chelsea, and definitely fuck Tottenham Hotspur. Peace out, man. I'll check you guys next time.